Okay, so the Young Turks did a video about this woman who was forcibly stripped and thrown in a cell naked. Now, looking at the video, yeah, it's a good thing that she was thrown in a cell by herself, because that would have been a rape call right there. Now, here's the thing. It happened in Illinois. If you don't watch my channel, I have a very piss-poor opinion on Illinois. Now, she was held in because, well, it was a DUI arrest. I mean, this wouldn't have happened if she wasn't driving drunk. However, Illinois law says that the officers have to have a reasonable possession. She's holding contraband or a weapon of some sort. Well, it doesn't even appear from the video that I watched, the Young Turks, and the actual video that I saw uncensored, that this happened at all. That they were even looking for a weapon. The police state you've been asking for. Look at these fuckers right here. 4 of them ganging up on one girl. Now, it appeared that she was fighting him back just a little bit. So if anything, it was just a humiliation tactic for them. You know, it's like, oh, you're gonna fuck with us, the police? You're gonna struggle a little bit? We're gonna strip you naked and throw you in a cell. Be glad we don't have Big Blue there to teach you who's your daddy. You see, this is why I like that I live in Missouri. Now, that's not saying that Missouri cops won't do the same thing. It's just that Missouri cops aren't near as bad about it. I don't hear hardly anything bad happening about Missouri. Like, the worst thing that I've heard happen about Missouri in the past 10 years, in fact, in my entire life, the Joplin thing, where the tornado came in and just wrecked everything. Terrible, terrible ordeal. Now, that being said, they had no reason to do this. Well, other than, well, like I said before, humiliation tactic. This is the police that you guys have been asking for. Your Republicans, your Democrats, a large portion of the time, whenever you ask for safety, when you ask the so-called professionals to take care of your safety entirely, they tend to get out of hand with things. And it tends to be the power-hungry bullies who will do shit like this, who wind up being in power because, well, that's the only way they can do things. Ugh, badass. Yeah, stripped a woman naked and threw her in a cell in a blanket. Yeah. Now, that being said, my personal experience, 2 bullies that I dealt with in high school are now in the police department. 2 fucking bullies. 2 pompous, arrogant shitbags. One of them, well, you know, he was one of your sport guys, you know, your jock type individuals. Gave me a lot of shit. But I didn't think he was going to actually physically do anything, just, you know, mouth off. The other guy, this individual has the reading ability of a 3rd grader, and honestly, he's trying to compensate for something, maybe a small dick or something of that nature. Terrible, terrible individual. Now, I know another individual who wants to get on the police department as soon as he's done with his tour over in Afghanistan or Iraq. I can't remember what he's doing. He's a military police, and honestly, I can see him being one of those guys that you hear about every now and then, who murders and rapes and pillages small children. Well, you know what I mean. The pillaging, yeah. Over in Afghanistan, because we hear about those things a lot. How much of it actually occurs? Probably not as much as what they actually say it does, but yeah, I can see him being one of those guys. These are 3 assholes in my state, in my small podunk fuck town, wanting to get on the police department. And I see these 4 cops, that's exactly what I think. People who have that same background, the power-hungry mentality where you just want to fucking wreck shit as much as you possibly can. Oh, I want to fuck you up and get away with it. The police are fucking crazy nowadays. Why do you think you got these guys following police around? I can't remember the name of the organization. But I typed up police brutality, and one of the videos that I wound up getting was this guy who was following police so he can watch and make sure that the neighborhood's safe and the police aren't ruining things. Because they killed some guy. Now, in that video, which I hope I can find it. I actually downloaded it. The police were more than justified to pull that guy over and ask him what the fuck he's doing. Oh, we have to worry about our safety. But let's also not forget, the police, they're not in charge of your safety. The Supreme Court ruled that out a couple years ago. They don't have to protect you. They only have to protect the property of the city. Protect and serve, more like punish and enslave. Yes, I got that from what's on the side of Barricade in Transformers 1. And that movie had so many holes in it. Still a good movie, though. It's a terrible ordeal. Lady, if you weren't drunk, this wouldn't have happened. However, I think it's a good thing that it happened. I think it's a good thing that you got drunk. Because the more you hear about police brutality, the more we're going to get to the bottom of the problem. Along with that, this is also why I didn't want to become a police officer. I didn't want to hear about these police brutality shits, and people look at me like, oh god, it's a police officer. Unlike the Crips and the Bloods, he can fuck with us and get away with it. Ugh. He's short. He probably wants to compensate for something. He's Asian. He probably wants to compensate for a small penis. I do have a small penis, but I am perfectly okay with that. Because I know how to use it. Instead, I think I'm going to work on a radio show. Because I don't want to be put in the same boat as those assholes. A lot of these police brutality things that you hear about, it isn't really police brutality. It's actually justified. But this was not. This was completely wrong. Now, in closing, I want to talk about the justified so-called police brutality videos that we hear about. A while back, there was a video of a guy who was knocking out windows in a, it was either a Wendy's or a Hardee's, some yellow fast food restaurant. Walked up with a hammer and just started knocking the place out. Police were notified, had a dog. They sprayed this guy in the face with the OC. OC is not fun. You got mace, and then you got OC. OC is what the police use, not mace. OC is very, very, very uncomfortable. More uncomfortable than mace. And most police use saber, and that's like the third most powerful stuff that you can get a hold of. If they don't use saber, they use fox, and that is the most powerful stuff you can get a hold of. Fox OC, whenever I got maced with it, sprayed with it for my Job Corps security training, because we had to do that to graduate. The next day I could peel off bits of my skin from where the OC was on. Why am I mentioning this? The guy was having no reaction to it at all, and he was white. White people tend to have a worse reaction to OC spray than darker colored people. Why? Well, actually I don't know that. I don't. And it has something to do with genetics and the pigments in the skin. I don't know exactly. He was having no reaction to it at all, and obviously the guy was higher than a kite. So the police gunned him down and just shot the living shit out of him. Why? Because at that point, the dog probably would have got fucked up by that guy. And losing a dog is the same as losing another police officer. Except the dog costs a lot more. I think the police were justified in that moment. But in this moment, in the video that I'm talking about now, no. Honestly, those police, they need to lose their jobs. And the entire police department, if anything, needs shut down for that shit. Because I'm pretty sure this wasn't the first time it happened. I'm pretty sure that police department probably has a bunch of problems of the same nature. Now, why am I saying shut it down completely? It's Illinois. They don't deserve police at all because they are a police state. They want the government of their state and the federal government to abide by the rules that they have set in place. If gun control worked, Illinois would be the safest state in the Union. Chicago would be the safest city. And no, it's a fucking... It's Mad Max. It's Judge Dredd era type stuff. And the people aren't going to be able to deal with this because the government won't let them deal with this. As such, the people should be allowed to deal with it. and people should be forced to deal with it. Agree with me, disagree with me, yeah, whatever. That being said, if you like the video, like. If you like the video, I also suggest you subscribe. If you dislike the video, I want you to dislike. As such, regardless of which, I want you to comment on this video. I want you to give me your 2 cents on it. I want to know what you think. Now, that being said, I'm done.